Welcome to the You Decide podcast. I'm Dr. Tiffany. We are going to bring you stories of ordinary people who have chosen to live an extraordinary life, outside of their comfort zones and into confidence, possibility, and certainty. You are just one decision away from living your most aligned life, because let's get real, that's what we all want. Hey guys, we're back.
Hey.
That was her cue. She was a little slow.
Yep.
Today we're talking about posture, the physical piece of posture, and how that affects your confidence and affects how you show up and affects how you feel on the inside and also probably how others perceive you, right?
Yep.
Okay. Physically, can you just talk about, you being 18, I would like you listeners, hopefully there's a lot of kids out there and their parents, but the middle school age is probably the worst for posture. As we go through puberty, all these girl parts and boy parts that we don't know what to do with and we want to hide, right?
Yep.
Well, we do. And many times people don't ever recover from that. So you being the age you are, I think is extremely relevant to be able to talk about how you hold yourself in space.
Yep.
That's a weird way to say that, but basically
walking,
moving, standing, all that kind of stuff. So just touch on the points of posture, eye contact, all the things.
I think everyone can say that it's really awkward when like someone walks in and their shoulders are slumped, they're looking at the ground. Like, dude, what are you doing?
And would you ever think that person is like happy with themselves? Just and miserable.
Like, if you want to ask me a question, like you see in stores, right? There's like the worker and they need to go ask a question, but they're going to look at the ground all the way until they almost bump into them and then ask them the question. Well, I think it looks not very professional. It looks like you don't really love yourself. Like there's no confidence in yourself. So when people have their shoulders back, they're walking like they like themselves. I don't know.
You should see her. She's demonstrating. Her shoulders are back.
Okay. And then you're making eye contact with people. So if you're talking to an adult, you're standing, you're not swaying, making eye contact, a firm handshake, the things that are professional, and you don't look weak or you don't look not confident.
Yeah. Because you could watch 20 people walk into the mall and know pretty clearly how they feel about themselves, right?
Yep.
Yep, for sure. For sure. How did you learn this?
You chiropractic.
Well, that was the means of teaching.
Yep.
Because, and I will talk more about this afterwards in my portion of what posture really means. And when a kid is struggling with posture, they're also struggling with so many other parts of their life, mental health, how they feel about themselves, anxiety, depression, shame. When the spine doesn't move, the brain doesn't fire. And Callyn and I talk a lot about sports and activity and all that kind of stuff, making sure your body moves and your spine moves, because then your brain fires. Like when you got hurt with your ACL, you were a mental mess for a while because you could not move, right? And so that's some of the physical importance about making sure you stand up straight. Because have you ever really been in pain? Like to the point that you couldn't sit up straight?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. But I think that's a lot of people's struggle. So if they don't feel good, we move away from pain. So let's just say you have mid-back pain in between your shoulder blades. Do you think it's going to feel really great to sit up straight?
No.
No, it's going to burn. It's going to shoot. You might not be able to breathe very well. So that's one thing when she says, chiropractic helped me, not only with the brain and the spine, but also awareness of yourself. You've always been very aware in how you've carried yourself.
Well, and there's the people also that carry themselves with a little bit too much sass.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm my shoulders are back and I'm walking. Well, you look like you're like a pageant queen and we don't like that. So like you don't have to act like you're the best person in the world either.
Right.
But enough that.
Or like when people say you have stick up your butt and you're sticking your boobs out.
Well, like you need to look approachable also. People don't want to. First impressions are really important and people aren't just going to come up and talk to you, or it's not going to be as easy for you if you look like you don't want to be there. You're not acting confident, like you care, you're not making eye contact, or if you're walking like a girly girl, like.
Yeah, girly girl.
Well, and there's those people that like just have swag, which you need a little bit of your own little swag, but
right.
Not when it's like disgusting to the point where it's deterring just
interaction.
Right.
But don't you think, we got dogs barking, sorry. Don't you think that the majority of those people are insecure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yep.
So they're trying to stand out, trying to be seen, maybe accepted. What would you say? What would you say the opposite of frumpy posture is for an insecure person?
A lot of people, when they're insecure, they're trying to show their body off, so they have people notice them for something different than themselves.
Ooh, that's awesome.
So, butt, boobs, like girls especially. Guys not as much, but like, oh, I have attention because of my butt, and that's what they can only get because of how they're walking or whatever, because no one is noticing them otherwise.
Right.
So that's why they're seeking for something.
Yeah, seeking approval.
Yeah.
And because they don't believe that they're worth anything other than that, right? Or that people will like them because of their personality or their heart or their
So they go
kindness.
to something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that conversation would come up. That's real good.
Yeah.
Okay. From a kid's standpoint, is it tough to talk to adults?
Well, you've kind of just forced me to talk to adults when we were little and stuff. And we have very mature conversations at home, and I think that helps.
Yeah.
But it still makes me a little nervous when you don't know someone or they're kind of high up, like you're talking to a sophisticated person. But I can't imagine if you've never had practice, these people that their parents don't introduce them or they just don't talk much at home.
Right.
To be able to talk to someone and know this stuff, you've taught us. Otherwise, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, and both Dad and I came from families that were around a lot of management people. So Dad was the same as Grandpa is the mayor, right? Mm-hmm. So he's been in the law enforcement. When they would go places, you were just required to talk. Talk and behave.
Right.
Two things. We had to know how to have a handshake. We had to know how to make eye contact. We had to know how to talk to adults. And so both of us came from that place. And I think that's probably helped us see when people really struggle to communicate with adults, even if it's a coach or a teacher that they actually know, a lot of kids still struggle to communicate. Like, how would you recommend, because there are likely a lot of families that don't even know that's a thing to teach their kid, or maybe they didn't have any of that experience like Dad and I did. So how do you, like, what advice would you give for showing up physically, posture, what we're talking about, to be your best, even if you weren't taught it?
Just try to talk to people. So I think it takes a lot of courage to seek adults or talk to people, but a lot of people or a lot of adults respect you when you see them at a basketball game and it's like your friend's parent or someone, and you just like go and talk to them. Like, it just shows a lot about who you are, and like it's gonna be, might be rough, like might slur a few words,
right?
But that's the only way you're gonna learn. Before you're on the big stage, bosses, like you just have to kind of just go out of your comfort zone and talk to people a little bit and just act like you want to talk to them. Yeah. So you can tell the people that are like, oh, and they're slumping their shoulders, like,
right.
Be present in the situation, act like you're confident, act like you want to be there.
Right.
You know?
Right. One thing that I learned in, I think it was college, well, high school or college, is fake it till you make it. And I know there's the extreme part of that too, right? I mean, faking it. I don't mean like faking it. But when you're in those situations, the mantra of fake it till you make it was like, just do this, even though I'm uncomfortable. At the end, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to get better. Eventually you need to have interviews for a job. You need to interact to find a partner. You need to, there's so many things that, even if you're working behind a computer screen, you're still on video.
Yep.
Right? People can still see how you carry yourself. So we talked before we started, just like the posture of shoulders back, eyes level with the ground, not down, not up. Up comes off as snooty, right? And then she mentioned, or you mentioned, well, I just went into like a different person for a moment, how you walk. Can you just talk about like a normal walk, a slow walk, a fast walk? What do they feel like?
Well, slow could be a little bit of the showing off, like,
oh, swagger.
Yeah, but it also could be like they don't want to be there. So like the slow slumped walk. The fast one's like, I want to get out. Yeah.
Or I'm anxious.
Yeah.
And oh my God, is everybody looking at me?
Like, well, and I walk fast in front of crowds. I don't like that. But there's a difference between, in every situation in their life, they're walking fast to get away from the busy, and that's the anxious, the sad. You know, they're just not okay with who they are, which is super sad. But you shouldn't have a pacer on to see what pace you're
Well,
going.
no. Let's not get too literal.
No,
that's probably what you would have done when you were 14.
Stop. Just
all right, Mom said my
medium
pace
pace
is so many steps per minute. She was a kind of a perfectionist. Oh, that's a topic. Yeah. Perfectionism.
And literalism.
And literalism. Is it a word?
Nope.
No, I don't know. Might not be a word. But eye contact, I think, from what I see with kids, is also one of the biggest challenges, because people are really uncomfortable looking into other people's eyes, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's friends, like at the lunchroom when you're eating, and you're just looking down and you're trying to talk and you're not interacting. When you go through the lunch line, say thank you to the lunch ladies and look at them. Make sure when you walk into a game or walk into a concert or walk into someone's home, you greet them and say hi with your eyes, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else on posture from a kid's perspective?
Smiling too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Because if you look sad like that, also, you could be walking confidently and your face just says it all. So just showing the happy parts, or if you see someone that you haven't seen in a long time, act happy, like,
right,
you know,
right.
Even if you are happy but you don't show it, like, just, oh my gosh, it's so amazing to see you here.
Make somebody feel good sometimes is the most important.
Yep. Your face says a lot, so.
Okay, anything else? Stand up straight, folks. I'll be on next to talk about how we get to that point in our kids, how technology is affecting posture, how that is also affecting how they feel about themselves, mental health, and their level of joy. I think we're seeing a lot of joy factors start to decrease. And I see it firsthand in my practice and in the community. So hopefully through all this, we can help some kids have confidence in themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Later, Gators. Thank you so much for listening and being willing to go all in. Ditch the excuses and the comfort zones and make a decision that nothing can stop you. You can find the show notes below, and I'd love for you to share, subscribe, and rate this podcast, but only if you love it.